Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome back to Best Perspective. This week's guest will be Jolie Krebs from New York Exist, telling us all about. And our surprise co-host this week, we've got Benjamin Reese stepping in to fill in all the blanks there. How are you doing, Benjy?
You know, I'm not bad. Still living in my hole with plenty of cats. I'm yet to be seen whether any of them make an appearance on the show. But
Okay, how many are there?
At the moment we have 5, 3 of which are ours now because we've taken Biscuit on full time, and 2 fosters, so 5 in total.
Nice, you guys doing God's work for the feline world over there.
We try.
That's the way. We are going to get stuck in. We'll have a little chat at the top like we normally do. We'll go to our chat with Jolie and then be back with a full chat, Benjy and I, at the tail end of the show. But to start off, Benjy, what's big news right now going around in Ultimate?
I assume you're talking about the CFC scene we're putting together for... no, not that. It's WJUC coming up in just a couple of days' time when we're recording this.
Yeah, so WJUC World Junior Ultimate Championships, of course, in just around the corner from where you're at, I guess. I assume everything's around the corner.
It's quite a long corner,
You're in Wales, so Wales to Birmingham is where it is.
A couple of hours, Birmingham. So, first time this event's being held since JJUC back in 2022, which was the joint juniors because it had the under-20 World Juniors and under-17 European Youth Ultimate Championships. And this time WJUC is kind of stepping out on its own again, going to be in a bigger event than it was last time because obviously the pandemic was still sort of impacting things there. It was, even though most countries were out of regulation by that point, it would have affected preparation time and squad selection and trials and things like that. So there are a few kind of powerhouse ultimate countries that we'd expect to see there that weren't there, and we're getting a lot of those coming in now, and it should be a pretty bumper week, to be honest.
Yeah, bumper week. You're going to be there doing some writing with Ulti World. Of course, the coverage available on Ulti World, as almost all WFDF events are. I mean, let's have a little look into it. Of course, mixed division is the biggest this year. Then open, then women's mixed. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12,
16
14,
teams
16.
in mixed, 15 in open, and 11 in women's. Mixed is the kind of the simplest structure. 4 pools of 4. Top 2 go into top power pools. Bottom 2 go into bottom power pools. Play more games. And then the top 2 teams in the top power pools get a bye into quarters, and the bottom 2 teams in the top power pools play the top 2 teams in the bottom power pools in like pre-quarter matchups, and then you get quarters, semis, finals. They're only seeded 5th because they did not enter the mixed division at WJUC as part of JJUC 2 years ago in Wrocław, even though there was a mixed division. So the USA, Canada, Japan, a lot of these teams that you might expect to see higher up are underseeded. Actually, Japan is still not in mix this time as well, but a lot of teams that you might expect to see high up did not attend, so they've kind of been bumped down a little bit in seedings. Hungary...
Tell us a bit about expectations. I think you were going to keep staying into it there, so keep going with the mixed here about some of these pools now.
Hungary are the reigning champions in this division. They smashed Switzerland in the final 2 years ago, and they had a very strong side that a lot of whom actually had represented Hungary on the senior level at the home EUC in Győr in 2019. But a lot of those have indeed moved on, and they've kind of finally aged out, which is crazy. So players like Luka Takac and Malindo Kolanaj, they've aged out of it, which is a kind of a big shame for them. So I kind of feel like they might be a little bit overseeded at 2, but they did make the final of EYUC last year. Ferenc Clement, who you might remember had a greatest in the U17 mixed final out in Wrocław, and is for a young lad he looks a lot older than
he's a unit. He is
a bit of a unit. He will be You would expect him to be bearing.
He was gutted at the end of that game. I
can
still
imagine.
remember his reaction when Switzerland took the gold. And talk a bit about Switzerland, top seed that obviously comes in part of that victory they had at the European Youth Ultimate Championships last year in Padova. They reigned supreme. I'm not sure if Michelle Moulebach is still within it. I don't think so.
She's not on the roster. Mona Hartmann.
Mona Hartmann, yes.
We were very impressed with her at Swiss Nationals a couple of weeks ago. We do have Paula Hinkle on the roster. I still think there's a lot of good talent on this team. I could very much still see them going, into quarters and beyond. I think they'd be disappointed not to, given the results they had last year.
Yeah, you talked about the Americans in at fifth. It's tough in World Championship, any division, for them not to be the favorites, despite this, the way this seeding has found its way into place because of tournaments missed because of pandemic-y stuff. Canadians, you never know as well, I said, but the French have been very, very strong. I know that the joint, they were good in very close in open and women's. They're double silver medalists. How was their mixed? How was their mixed that time? I know I can't
remember whether they had a mixed 4 years ago. I'll tell you what. There's an easy way for me to check this, and I can go back into the old results. Yeah, France were not actually in attendance for 2 years ago. Of the teams that were there, and kind of you're looking at. Hang on, let me find it back again. Obviously, you had Hungary won, and then Switzerland came runner-up, and then it was Sweden who are not here, and Colombia were third, which is why they've sitting in that third spot overall. So no France, but the amount of youth talent that comes through the French systems is ludicrous.
Coming more and more right now. Their youth system is getting stronger and stronger. Pool C is probably the one with the most question marks for me, Benjy. Colombia obviously did well last time around, but Poland, Mexico, Hong Kong. I mean, we're in Europe. We got a little bit of a finger on the pulse with what Poland's doing, but Mexico and Hong Kong, I have no idea what they're going to be able to bring to the table here.
No, and that's one of the reasons why I love A, world events, and B, kind of world junior events as well, because this is where you really see how things are being built up from the grassroots level, and often it can be so because you don't have the same, you don't have years and years of ultimate playing, you've not been to as many, international tournaments, you've not got that same knowledge base necessarily as more experienced players do, so it can feel very stylistic at this level. I mean, thinking back to, like, we'll take JJUC as an example, because unfortunately I was not in Padova last year, but the thing that impressed me about the French teams specifically, even at the under-17 level, was they were so rigid and disciplined. When they got near the end zone, whoever had the disc in their hands was clear, pointing instructions. We're going to stack up here and create ourselves these big spaces. And then there are other teams, and you can tell, like, look at Singapore in under-24s, where we're going to play this really short ticky-tack style. Yeah, you do get that, I think, a lot at the junior levels, when players kind of haven't had as much time to figure things out for themselves so much.
You don't know what you're going to expect, what you're going to get, which is, of course, the thrill of the sport. We're going to talk about the open and women's division at the end of the show, and then more on top of that in the patrons only segment. For now, we're going to get to Jolie, so stay tuned, and let's welcome in Jolie Krebs. Here we are with Jolie Krebs, coming at us from New York, I imagine. Jolie, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. It's you popped up on our radar. You've obviously been a great ultimate player. You've had a very busy string of playing and a fair bit of success with your playing recently. So we got to find out right from the horse's mouth, so to speak, what's going on over in Jolie Krebs land. And that's what we're going to get to today. So starting off at a list of all of these busy things that you've been up to. And again, you can fill in some blanks or correct me if I'm wrong, but very recently, congratulations. Gridlock champion of Pull, won it this year. The Callahan winner in 2024, as well as the blocks leader at Nationals, breakout player of the year runner-up in 2023. You put sunny Binghamton on the map, coming from 201st, taking them out of a 30-year drought and bringing them to nationals 4 years in a row. This year, Offensive Player of the Year. You played with Bent. You played with Exist. You had an invitation to U.S. Nationals. I've got all this information. I think it's all accurate. All at the ripe young age of, and now this piece of information, I couldn't find it on the internet. How old are you, Jolie Krebs?
I just turned 22 a couple weeks ago.
Okay, so still eligible for the next under 24s?
Yeah.
Yes, you will be. Okay, exciting. 22-year-old. And tell me about the start of your ultimate days. You are from Brooklyn, New York, is that correct? And
Yeah.
you still live in and around New York, definitely in New York State?
Yeah.
So where did you find Ultimate? Where did you start playing? Tell me about the early days.
Yeah, so I started playing in high school in my junior year of high school, which was like my last like year on campus or in person because my senior year was COVID. So I didn't really know much about it my whole life, but in my junior year we had like a co-ed varsity ultimate Frisbee team. And yeah, I went to high school near where I live now in Brooklyn. It was co-ed, but it was mainly male matching players. Me and one of my friends were like, oh, it sounds fun. We didn't have a sport that I had played basketball and soccer that year but didn't have a sport to play in the spring. So I was like, could be fun to pick up. And so we just tried it out. So I played on that team in my junior year. And then we didn't have a senior year season. But that was kind of the start. And then I started kept playing in college.
Okay, so junior year, you're 22 years old. Going back to junior year, that's what, 4-6 years ago or something? Or how long have you been playing?
So yeah, that was like 5 years ago.
5 years ago. So you haven't been playing that long. It's you're new to the sport for an old guy like me, particularly. but also for your accolades, you've kind of just been getting going. So starting in high school, you missed your senior year, and then you went to university at Binghamton. Is that? Tell me about.
Yeah, SUNY Binghamton. So yeah, the SUNY is like State University of New York at Binghamton or Binghamton University. So I missed my senior year, couldn't play senior year, and then also couldn't really play freshman year of college because it was still COVID. So practices were like limited to 10 people. Only one captain was allowed to be there. We kind of did like a lot of basic things. We all had to wear masks. And I was only at Binghamton in the fall of my freshman year. And I went to like maybe 2 or 3 practices. There were no tournaments. I don't really count that as like a year of playing. And then I took the spring semester off just because of COVID and wanted to take time off from college and go back when things were a little bit more normal. So I didn't play at all my spring semester. So I don't really count my senior year and freshman year of college as like playing until like it really kind of started in my sophomore year of college.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're not counting years with only 5 of them available. Really, it's 5 years ago, but 1 didn't count. Now you're not even counting these other years. Goodness gracious! But so
that's fine.
Freshman year is behind you. Your junior year is your second year of university. That's junior year of university is when things really started clicking for you.
Yeah, I think so. And I was captain at that point, so I started to take it more seriously.
This is when you get Big Bear. Is that what the club is called? The university club. And this is when Big Bear made nationals in your junior year, or did you qualify because of the freshman year?
Well, in my sophomore year, we went twice because they made up for the COVID year. So we went in the fall of my sophomore year and then the spring of my sophomore year and then junior year and my senior year this past year. So we went 4 times total. It was just over the span of 3 years.
Okay. We're going to keep talking ultimate, but I want to touch quickly. You said you played basketball and soccer as part of varsity sports. Were these sports that you kind of took to high levels as well, that you you gravitated to the same way? Were there other sports in your youth development that you also kind of spent time with?
Yeah, I was like very competitively playing soccer growing up and very competitively playing basketball. So it definitely was like a big switch up to stop playing those sports. I played baseball when I was like really young. Um, and then I played a bit of tennis as well in high school. But like soccer, I started playing when I was like 3 and played on a travel team and like my school team. And then in like the 7th grade, I found basketball and played on a travel basketball team, which was pretty competitive. And then in the 7th grade, I played on my like high school's varsity team. So I played on my varsity basketball team for 6 years. Um, and was pretty like competitive and then was captain of that team for 2 years. So definitely took my other sports very seriously, and it wasn't until college that I stopped playing all those other sports and like committed fully to Frisbee.
Okay, and so the commitment obviously would have been a big step to jump out of sports that you were pretty good at, that you were pretty dedicated to. Was it just obvious for you once you started playing Ultimate? Like you're clearly a very, very talented player, but did you just tell us about what made it so clear that you were switching from sports, that you had some dedication and passion and moving them like full fledged into Ultimate?
Yeah, I kind of just got to the point where I felt like I had to choose one to really like commit fully to, and I'm like a pretty competitive person, and I do get like I feel like when I commit to something, I commit 100%. So, when I went to college and I was looking at different club sports, like I went to the practices for club soccer and club basketball and club ultimate, and I felt like I needed to choose one to like commit fully to, and that the other ones I would just do like recreationally with friends and stuff. So, um, I was kind of juggling between them all and ultimately decided, no pun intended, but ultimately decided that I really liked the people on the Ultimate Frisbee team and the community and culture. And I did really love playing basketball and soccer, but a part of me felt like I'd been playing them for so long that I didn't know how much better I could get at them. Whereas with Ultimate, it was really exciting because I felt like I had so much growth that I could be doing and I could get like a lot better or get really good at it, which was like really exciting to me. Whereas, I kind of felt like not that I had become stagnated at basketball or soccer, but that the ceiling was just like so much higher. And also like I mean for basketball, like I could never really be that good because I'm like pretty short. So that was always a struggle for me. And I don't know. With soccer, I like thought about playing soccer more competitively, but I just really liked the people in Ultimate. It actually was like a very I like to say this story because it was one moment that like really made me commit to Ultimate was I had gone to like practices for soccer and for club soccer and club Ultimate basketball, and I liked the people in all of them. But after I took my semester off in the spring and was coming back to Binghamton, I was super like it was COVID, so I was like it was my first semester in college, and I didn't really know a lot of people, and I was very shy and like not. I'm a pretty outgoing person, pretty extroverted in general. But that whole first semester I was at Binghamton, I was pretty shy and like nervous a lot of the time. And so when I came back in my sophomore year, I was pretty nervous and like not super excited about going back to Binghamton. And the captain of the Ultimate Frisbee team, whose name's Anna Patel, who's one of my best friends now, she texted me and was like, Jolie, we remember you. You like were so athletic and like skilled, and we didn't see you a lot of you, but like we really really liked what we saw, and you had like a great energy, blah blah blah. Like we would love you to come to this fun summer tournament or like come to practices. Blah, like went on, and like just getting that text was all I needed. It was like I felt wanted and seen, and that was something that I think really stood out about the Ultimate Frisbee team was like the community and the people. And so that was like all I needed. And then I committed.
Amazing. And that was Anna Patel, you said?
Yeah, Anna Patel, who was my co-captain in my junior year, really, really talented player.
Cool.
And like
I would say the whole Ultimate community owes her a thank for dragging you in and keeping you here based on what you've accomplished thus far, and we're hoping for more. I'm gonna cut up your short career here and ask you a little bit about a few of your campaigns you've been on and the teams, and we'll start with, well, not most recently because you even went back since then and have had some success, but you did come to Windmill only 3 weeks ago. You came with Exist. Give me, generally speaking, that your vibes. How was Windmill compared to tournaments in the US?
It was definitely different from tournaments I've gone to. It was like very highly competitive, which I honestly like didn't know. I didn't expect that much going into it. I just like don't really like. I didn't like think much about it going into it. I kind of just was like, oh, it's a fun tournament. I knew it was a party tournament, and it's very early on in our club season. And we're doing like some like travel beforehand and after. So like to me, it was just more casual. But when we got there and like I realized that like most of them were national teams and were like very, very skilled, and it like sunk in as we were there, which was super exciting because I mean I really enjoy playing at a high level and playing competitively. And so it was just really cool to have the opportunity to play against like national teams and all these players that I've definitely seen like all over and heard about, and to like meet people that I've watched play before.
Have you had an overseas tournament before?
No, I don't think I have. I've never played overseas. Yeah. So I think that was like another thing. I was talking to a friend about like how interesting it was to play against international teams, and the style of play was definitely different. And like I definitely learned a lot about how you could play this like different offensive strategies and styles of play that are like more international that we don't see as much here in the US. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Nice. You guys got fourth in the end. Is that the bronze medal game against the Italians and their wild and crazy coach Davide?
Yeah, they were fun.
Did you notice that man, by the way?
Yes, I did. I did notice.
Okay. He's tough not to notice.
They're really cool. They're really good. Yeah, we lost on Universe to them in the fourth place or the third place game, which was a fun one. I was like pretty exhausted at that point, but it was very, very competitive. It was cool.
Cool. And any you said you had a little bit of extra time before the tournament to be in Amsterdam?
Yeah, we were in Berlin for like 3 or 4 days. And then we were in Amsterdam for like 2 days beforehand, and then Amsterdam for a night after.
Super fun.
Yeah.
So Exist, will that be your team next year as well? I know you've played in women's and mixed. What's up for this year for club team?
I've never played in the women's club division. I've only played Exist in club.
Okay. I thought. Now I'm gonna get. I've made myself go crazy, I think, researching. But I could have sworn that you had played for Bent.
No, I have not.
Okay.
I tried out for Bent. Maybe that has to do with
maybe that's what popped up on the Google radar. But okay, so Exist has been your team. You will be going one more club season upcoming with Exist for 2024.
Yeah. So I'll be playing with Exist this summer, and I've been with them for 2 years. I mean, my first year with them, I was a practice player and was gone for most of the summer, so I didn't go to it. Wasn't super involved. But last year, obviously, played with Exist and still will be. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I had a question about your heritage origin. The name Krebs. Is it American? Do you know what your extended origins are? Is that something that's shareable or not?
I mean, it's shareable if I knew. I really don't know.
Okay.
I think my family is like a mix of just like Eastern European.
Okay.
Medley. I'm not sure.
An Eastern European medley. I like that. Okay, so my other question here about your choices of number. You wear the number 24 on your back. Is there any significance to your number choosing?
No, not particularly. I was always 2 my entire life growing up. Like every sport I played, I was always 2. And when I joined Big Bear, 2 was taken, and I was like really bummed about it. And I'm really superstitious, so I was like, oh no, this is like really bad. And I then was like really thinking hard about what I wanted to be, because I knew once I switched, that would just be my new number permanently.
Right.
And I was like, I wish it was more like unique, but I was just like 2, and then I was like 2 + 2 is 4, and then I was like, well, I'll keep the 2, and then 2 + 2 is 4.
That's a good enough reason for me. I like that. Okay, so also last year, and again, this is I'm getting my information that you were invited to USA Women's Tryouts. Is that, or USA Tryouts? I guess it wasn't specifically for women. It's all three teams kind of collectively. If you could be chosen for one or the other, and that was like there was about 200 invites across both genders, approximately. Can you tell us a little bit about how that went? From the invitation, how it arrived to you, how you got wind that you were invited, and how that all went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I applied. I don't know when I applied, but way before that. And then when I heard I got invited, I was honestly very surprised, and I was very excited and honored. And then there was a little group of people from Exist. There were a couple other players from Exist who also got invited, and some people from the city that I'm friends with that got invited. So I was really excited. I thought it'd be a cool way to, travel and just play with really good people and against good people, and just a fun experience. I didn't really have much expectation going into it, and kind of just wanted to enjoy the experience. But yeah, it was really cool. I mean, it was 100 people on the East Coast. We went to Florida, to Sarasota, but it was only about 100, and then 50 DAOs, 50 DOMs. And we tried out we tried out on the mixed fields, and then also tried out on just the women's division fields. But I will say, I'm studying abroad this upcoming fall. As I said, I took a semester off in my freshman year, so I still have a semester left in school. And so I'm going to be studying in Valencia, Spain this upcoming fall for 4 months. And that overlaps with the tournament. So when I got invited, I hadn't decided which program I was going to be on. So I didn't know the dates of the program. And so I didn't know if I could make it to if I could even attend the tournament in Australia. And then after the tryout, a week or two afterwards, I got accepted into this study abroad program, and ended up deciding that I wanted to commit to the study abroad experience fully, and took myself out of the Team USA process. So yeah, that was that.
Okay, so you did end up effectively removing yourself because of a little bit of hanging doubt, because of your certainty about at least wanting to go to Valencia at that stage. Okay, cool.
It was definitely a difficult decision, and I was I ended up deciding that studying abroad is something I've been looking forward to for a very long time, and I wanted to commit fully to that, and also that there were just a lot of talented players that would be readily available to commit to the tournament. So
yeah, wow. I say cool, which is weird, but I think what I'm still hearing is Jolie Krebs is coming to Europe, which is pretty cool. So you're going to clearly play some Ultimate in Europe while you're here in Valencia. Murciélagos, I think is the name of it.
Yeah, and they were at Windmill. We played them too in the first round, which was crazy out of the 40 teams. But I met them, and they're super awesome. I'm really excited. So I'll probably be playing with them a bit when I'm there.
And how long will you anticipate to stay in Valencia in Europe? Is that clear? Is there a course duration?
Yeah, the course. So it goes until mid-December. But if I decide to stay longer, I mean, I'll be graduating after that. So to be determined.
I think Noah, our producer, sees my wheels turning right now, but I'm making a team for a tournament called CFC. We're gonna have to talk after this. I might have some proposals for you, Jolie.
Okay. I'm excited to learn. Yeah, I'll be in Spain from late August to mid-December, and looking to play as much Ultimate as one can.
Amazing. I think you will absolutely love European Ultimate. It's amazing. And this one tournament, CFC in Tenerife, oh my goodness, it's so good. Anyhow, so that's cool. That's very, very interesting. I thought I did not realize that you had withdrawn, but I think you've got many years in front of you to make these kind of teams as well. So I think it's cool you're following what your dreams are to be studying abroad. I want to talk a bit now about your Callahan campaign, your last college campaign. That video is incredible. The write-up talking about your work ethic, the amount of touches you get and points you play. That video was incredible, and I'll touch on a little bit of your statistics going up. But the one thing, there's a moment in the video where they say, I wonder what her cardio regime is, or her cardio preparation is like, because of how much you play. So I'll use this as a bit of a segue about what your training regimen is like. Are you like a hardcore trainer? Do you just are you a regular jogger? Tell me about what your prep is, and I guess specifically into cardio, if you do have a regime about that.
No, it's like actually so funny that they said that, and my friends and I joke about it all the time because I have absolutely no cardio routine.
I knew it. You're just a young little spark plug.
I don't even know what I would do if I were to have one. I don't really have like a training regimen, and honestly, probably I definitely should. But no, I don't really do much outside of Ultimate. I don't love running. I get kind of bored. So that's my part.
So in that last campaign, I mean, as far as line calling goes, did you kind of have a green light to go on whenever you want? Was your coach calling you on? You played a lot of points, and maybe give me an estimate of what percentage of points you think you played in your senior year.
Oh, I don't know. It really depends. Like, and it depends on the tournament and the setting. So, we, in terms of line calling for Big Bear, like me and my two co-captains, Melissa Torchio and Ariana Edwards, we would meet every week, and we met before every tournament, and we would make just a list of lines for every single scenario we might be in. So, like, if we really need to win or want to win a game, what lines we think are necessary to do that. If we're okay with like maybe sacrificing a game, like certain lines that we would call for that type of game. And we would have them for every single scenario, and we'd print them out, and we would just kind of, and if in the middle of a game, if like we went into a game being like, let's maybe get everyone more play time and try to get everyone onto the field. But then in the middle of the game felt like, if we tighten them up a little bit, we could win. Then we would just like go to another set of lines. That was kind of how it worked. And they balanced different things that, if we wanted to play zone against a certain team, we had certain players that were just very good at our zone. And we had, if we wanted to play person, or if we wanted to do a specific type of defense, we had different types of lines. So it wasn't necessarily just like putting certain top players on. But yeah, like
you would have been on a lot of the top lines, I suppose, is how it ended up shaking out.
Yeah, for like if we were to like tighten lines, I was usually on more frequently. But like I will say, we spent the entire year, our whole kind of motto was we didn't want to peak in the regular season. We wanted to peak in the finals at regionals. And I don't know how much you've followed like the Big Bear's history in the Metro East, but it always came down to Yale and Big Bear against each other in the Metro East regional finals, and it's always been a very like tight and competitive game and like very intense. So this year, at least, like we went into it being like, if we're in that situation again, playing Yale, like that's when we want to be at our best. That's what we want our zone to look our best. We want to be like a unified unit, and like everything leading up to that was like everything was just kind of leading up to that moment. And so we were willing to sacrifice earlier tournaments, earlier games to like working on growth, and lines were not as tight. I definitely wasn't playing as much as I was at nationals like throughout the whole season. We wanted like everyone to get a lot of play time, and especially for like our newer players to grow as much as they could, so that when we did get to the finals of Metro East regionals, we weren't just relying on our top end, which I think we did in past years. We like got to the finals, and then we were like kind of panicked, and we played like 10 or 11 players. And so I would like, someone like me would play like a lot more than I would like to. And so I think that's where we found a lot of success this year, was just like being okay with losing earlier tournaments, or, and just growing as a team and growing all of our younger players. And then so that we were set up for success later in the season.
Okay, awesome. And so you know, all those systems were in place so that the team could grow, that you were ready to peak at the right time. But was it ever, and you said maybe you were playing a little bit more than you liked, but did you ever feel like you needed to preserve your energy, or you if called upon, you're ready to go, like you can play every point of a game if need be?
I usually feel like, yeah, I could, like, if I need to. I feel like the adrenaline just kicks in and I don't like really realize what's going on at all.
I love it.
And then my body's usually not thrilled about it afterwards, but in the moment I'm usually fine. Like, um, I've rarely gotten to the point where I'm like, I literally can't be on right now. But yeah, I guess it's kind of what I'm used to, and I
Nice.
enjoy it.
Cool. Regionals 2023, you guys had a Universe Point game that had some controversy behind it in the end. As I understand, I'm getting, yeah. Anything that can you tell us a little bit about that game? How it kind of went down? Do you know the game I'm speaking of?
Yeah, against Yale. Yeah, yes, I know that moment. Yeah, it was Universe Point. It had been like a 20-minute long point. I think it was
Oh,
maybe somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes at this point. Yale had the disc on their end zone line. I think stall count was rising. It was like 8 or 9. They put up just like a lofty pass into the middle of the end zone. And then one of our players and one of their players were kind of both going for it. The Yale player caught it, but they collided. The player on Big Bear who collided with them, actually, she broke her nose and was concussed and out for a while afterwards. Like, it was a pretty bad collision. I don't know if the Yale player was injured. Hopefully not, but it was a pretty tough collision. And then our player didn't make a call on the play, but she went to the observer, and the observer like made the executive decision that it was like a yellow card and a dangerous play, and that it would be a turnover. So yeah, that was kind of that. And then it was a turnover. We got the disc. We worked it down without any turns, and scored. And it definitely was one of those moments which felt like not the way you want to win. However, like, it was a kind of brutal point, and I think at that point could have like gone anyway. So yeah.
okay. As far as playing now, you played in Europe just this last week at Windmill. You have observers that can, you have yellow cards in this. Do you have a personal preference of the way, like, I guess, not the way you like to win? However, there was obviously a major moment. There's some contention about it, physicality, people getting hurt. Do you feel like you get as good of a result out of an observer as you would out of players making these calls? Do you have a preference? Do you have a side of the fence on this?
I was just talking about this with someone. I love observers, and like, I'm pro using observers if they're there and getting their like opinion. I feel like sometimes I kind of just wish it was refed, because I feel like the lines just get so blurry, and I do feel like there's so much bias with, like, I don't know, people want to be like unbiased, but I think, like, especially when like tensions are high and like in a situation like that, you kind of are like affected by what you want the result of the call to be. So I usually like opt for going to the observer if I can, and like hope that they had a really good view on it and like saw what happened and can give a judgment call. But I also feel like talking it out is like, it's good to like get both people's opinions and like see if you can come to a conclusion on your own. But if there's an observer who saw it, I usually, lately, I've just always gone to the observer, like, to see what they saw or what they think. That's what, I don't know.
Cool. So this year you had your first year in the PUL, I believe.
Mhm.
You guys went pretty good. You went all right, I think. Yeah, I know very well. Is PUL something that you put your name in a hat for? Like, yes, I want to be on this team. Do they recruit you? How did you and Gridlock come to be?
Yeah, so I feel like my situation was a little unique with Gridlock, because I'm very close friends with the captain, Jenny DeJesus, who was my captain on Exist. So we've played with each other for a while now, and I tried out for Gridlock in 2023 and made it to like the end of the tryout process, but then I like got the season schedule and couldn't make it to like a single practice or tournament the entire season because of my college schedule with Big Bear. Like there were just so many conflicts. So I took myself out of trying out for Gridlock in 2023. And then in 2024, this year, I just assumed the same would happen. I was like, I just can't juggle college and Gridlock at the same time. It was too difficult last year. I don't think I'll be able to do it again. So I didn't go to tryouts this year, but talked to Jenny, and she kind of explained to me why she thinks I should play. And she sent me the schedule, and she was like, just see if there's any like conflicts or anything. And there weren't. Like it like lined up perfectly that like my college schedule, just like all the gaps that I had with that, like happened to be when all the Gridlock events were. And so from there, I kind of just decided to play with Gridlock. She asked if I wanted to play, and I'm very, very happy about the decision.
Yeah, nice. Tell us about the season. How is it maybe different than a college season, and being on a team that you were with that had great success, having some high profile teammates? Tell us about the whole experience, and of course, getting to be a champion of the league.
Yeah, it was incredible. Like it definitely a different experience from any team I've been on. I was the majority of the season was more of like a travel player because I was at college, so I couldn't really go to like weekday practices because I had practice in Binghamton, which is like 3 hours away from the city. So I mainly went to just the Gridlock games for the first part of the season until like mid-May, and then I was able to go to practices and stuff. So I definitely felt it was definitely the most disconnected I've felt from a team before, because I'm used to like going to practice every single day, going to social events, feeling very connected to everyone. And it took a while to like get to know my teammates and gain chemistry on the field with people. But I think that was kind of the beauty of the team, was that it felt pretty ragtag at times, like people coming from all over. We, had obviously the Colombians coming from there. I was coming down from school. But we kind of came together, and we were just, I think, all very bought into the system and like bought into the team. And it was just like when we got to game day, everyone was just like super hyped to be there, like very supportive of one another, very like just wanting to put everything out on the field. And like I think there was just an aura on the team that I just loved. And I loved the coach, BT. I don't know if you know her well, but it was the first time I've been coached by her, and she's incredible and very knowledgeable. Obviously being captained by Jenny is like always a privilege, and playing with the Colombians, especially like Manu, Vale, Gina, was like a once in a lifetime experience. I mean, hopefully it's not a once in a lifetime experience. Hopefully there's more opportunities for that, but they have been like the pinnacle of the sport for me for the entire time I've played. Like the minute I joined, I feel like they were the people I looked to. And when I heard that they were going to be on the roster, I was like, immediately, yes, I will play for this team. That I was so excited. And I feel like a lot of my like style of play is shaped by how they play. So it was just cool to play with them.
Awesome. They sing your praises as well. Well, at least Manu and Vale, I can say that much. So I was going to ask you about some of your favorite teammates, and you've touched on it, and you kind of touched on people that you've looked up to as well. If I asked the same question to Manu as well, but could you put together a starting seven, a dream team of female matching players that is your estimation the best seven alive, or alive, or they're hopefully also alive, but still playing or retired is what I want to say there.
I probably could. I honestly don't know if I'm the best person. I feel like I don't know enough about enough people. Like there's probably so many players I'm gonna be.
But that's why your seven is still unique to you. You don't need to have the full range of knowledge of everything that's ever happened in the sport. But you want to have a crack at it?
I can give a crack at it. I mean, Vale, Manu would be on there. Probably Gina as well. I'd probably put, which is funny because it's just cool that like they definitely would have been people I put on, and then I got to play with all of them, which is awesome. Dina Ali Malik is someone I've always looked up to a ton. I've never been able to play with her or against her, I don't even think. But so talented. Dawn Colton. I'm just doing Dows. Hopefully that's okay.
Yeah.
Dawn Colton. Someone who I love of playing with is Ella Young. She's one of my like closest friends, and but she is someone who I have such a hard time guarding and is so good in small spaces, and I like learn a lot from. And so she would probably be on there.
Get her on there. You only have one more to go. That's 6.
Dawn. Okay. Only one more.
Now it gets tough.
I'm trying to think to Trouts because I just remember being like, I mean, like I'm thinking like Cammie Groom is so good. Probably I'd probably have to say I'm gonna say Jenny. Jenny's like just so good, and I feel like I don't have the opportunity to play against her very often because we were on the same line on Exist and on Gridlock, and we're like usually on the same team, so I don't have experience playing against her. But anytime I did guard her, she's like just nonstop, and I'm like I just can't keep up. So probably
Nice.
Jenny. But there's so many more I could think of. I don't know.
There you have it. The starting 7 though.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple other randomy kind of questions. I'm all over the map here, but if you were to play now, this might be testing your knowledge too. You said you may not know. European Ultimate, you've now had a little taste. You have at least one European teammate in Layla Dennison, but if you were to play for a European team, and maybe you're influenced by the decision you're going already, but if you could pick any team, do you have a destination that or a team that you kind of feel like, yeah, they're good, I would like to play with them, that I like the way they work? Is there a team out there?
Well, I mean, the safe answer would be the Murciélagos, because I will be, so I'll plug them. But I mean, I'm trying to think of I really don't know too much about European Ultimate, if I'm being completely honest, but I now know about the teams I played against at Windmill. And I mean, Team France was like really, really skilled, and they definitely have like a system down. And we really struggled against them, and it was just cool to be challenged by them. And I feel like they just have like a lot of chemistry and experience with one another. So it'd be cool to experience that and like be part of that system and stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Frenchies. So you kind of let a potential selection for USA pass for good reasons. Do you have kind of a pinnacle for ambition? Like, is there like I want to achieve this in Ultimate? Is there like a list of things? Is there a one single, whether it be championship, selection? Is there something that kind of stands out as that box is the one I want to tick the most in this sport? Do you have something?
Right now, I really would love to win a club championship with Exist. I feel like that's right now where my head's at. And like, obviously we've like made it to the semis the past 2 years and have lost it with like the same scores, 15-13 both years, which is kind of tough. So I feel like breaking through and being able to win a club championship with Exist would be really cool. I feel like there's just been a lot of build up and like a lot of work with that team and that group of people. Other than that, I don't really have something like I mean, like I anticipate trying out for U24 Team USA. It kind of depends where I'm at in life and like where I'm living and what I'm doing and if that's where I want to be. It's also like pretty expensive, so hopefully like I can afford it. But I think that would be cool to play for to like represent the country and play with Team USA. But I kind of am just taking it one day at a time. I don't know. I'm just trying to like have fun and yeah.
Good way to go about it. Indeed, I'll put you into the microscope and see what I can press out of you. But one day at a time is a very good way to go.
Yeah.
I think we're just about done. I think my last question, just mixed versus women. You chose mixed now because I don't know, because you like Exist, or do you prefer the division? Was it just the team and the club? But tell me, the difference between mixed and women's, why you chose as you've done, and if you'll continue to choose the same way, or if there's other factors that influence.
I think I decided to go mixed for now, at least because I've been playing in the women's division for so long with college. But I really like playing in the women's division, and I've loved playing with Gridlock. Like, really, really enjoyed it. I think it's like I wouldn't be surprised if at some point soon I do maybe play more in the women's division or play in the women's division for club. But at least for now, like I really did enjoy like the Exists team, just culture and the people on the team, and that's really important to me, honestly, because it's like just the people I'm going to be spending so much of my time with, a lot of my weekends with, be traveling with, and so I just really like had a good time with them last year. So, and in terms of like the style of play, I do think it's a little different in like both in good ways. I feel like maybe the pacing is just a little different. I think in the women's division, I do enjoy being able to like cut deep and not be worried about like a dom kind of streaking, and a lot of like much larger people being kind of in the way, or they're worrying about their defenders getting in the way. So that is appealing about the women's division. But there are a lot of like players on Exist just that I just really liked playing with, and I kind of wanted to stick with it. So yeah.
Okay, you got to clear one thing up for me. You're saying these dom, and I think it means male matching player, but
male matching player. Yeah, sorry.
But what is dom?
Defender of men, a defender of women.
Okay. I've never heard it. Like, no, don't be sorry. I'm happy to have new foreign vernacular.
Oh, yeah.
It's male good. Yeah. Okay, doms and dows. You said,
DAOs, defender of women.
Okay, cool. Well, listen, this has been a wonderful little chat. I've learned so much about Jolie Krebs. I hope everybody watching has too. The best news of all of this is Jolie's coming to Europe, and we're going to see even more of her on the continent. But Jolie, thank you so much for giving us your time. It was great to get to know you. A pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And welcome back. We brought Benjy back in. Hope you enjoyed our chat with Jolie. She's a wonderful young player who's got a very bright ultimate future ahead of her. As promised, speaking of the young youthfulness of Jolie Krebs, we're going to continue to talk about WJUC and stick back into the open and women's division. We've got the best man for the job here, Benjy Reese, to get us stuck into the juniors chat. So let's kick back over to Benjy. Benj, we broke down the mixed a little bit there prior to our chat with Jolie. Tell us about what's happening in the open. You said 15 teams, so a little bit of an odd format.
Yeah, it doesn't work out anywhere near as nicely. One pool of 7 teams, one pool of 8 teams, and you go straight through the top 4 in each pool, play the top 4 in the other pool, and straight into quarters. So you've got to finish in that top 4 in your pool. Pool A has USA, France, Colombia, Great Britain, Australia, Singapore, and Switzerland. And Pool B has Italy, Canada, New Zealand, Germany, Japan, Belgium, Ireland, and China. Pool A, I think you've probably got is a case of 4 from 5. USA, you expect to top the pool. France have had so much success at junior level, would not surprise you to see them back up there again. Not quite sure what we'll see from Colombia this time, just because we don't necessarily have that much evidence of them. Great Britain have a couple of really promising young players as well as coming through now. There'll be a lot of eyes on young Sam Hill, and not just because his dad's the main man, but because he's been playing and training with Clapham this season and been very impressive, and was part of the smashed roster that kind of pulled the upset on Alba in the group stages at UK Nationals and made a and made a semi-final, which is a huge result for them to finish top 4 in the country. So, yeah, might be a bit of weight placed on his shoulders, but Australia as well, coming back over after not making the trip 2 years ago. I think probably USA, France, GB, Australia would be my guess out of Pool A. Pool B could be an absolute bloodbath. You could because that's 4 from 6 at.
Yeah.
You would say
you gotta love the Italians right at the gates after
I
performance.
think the Italians, Italy, you would expect probably to top the pool. Canada could well be very good. I don't know too much about the Canadian youth scene. Apparently, some of their kind of reigning junior athletes in male and female side are both playing mixed rather than playing single gender, so that might put a bit of strength in the other division and take it a bit away from them there. But New Zealand Open have been canny operators for a number of times. I can't believe Finn Collins, who is extremely tall. I can't believe he's still under 20. He did a lot of work for them for the mixed team actually at under 24s last year in Nottingham, not even under 20. So he will be a huge player for them. Japan back over. You can expect them to play a very different style.
They don't put out many bad sides.
Yeah, they will certainly trip a lot of players up. Germany again, I think probably alongside Italy and France, they're kind of consistently the 3 strongest European nations at bringing through youth teams and youth talent. And I mean, only an idiot writes off Belgium at this point in the
exactly.
So
Ina
not
will
me.
be coaching. I know that much. I obviously love her work, but more not just her work as a bench boss and running lines and running the team and keeping a tournament campaign going, but the lead up to it. She's been running the youth program there. You saw the materializing of a youth program, what it does at under 24. Obviously, the open team there was very strong. This next generation, I did have a small look at them at Rising High. The Belgian juniors played there. They were good. They've got some work to do, and it's tough to really assess how good they are when they're playing against senior, full-grown adults. But they were very, very good there.
Yeah, there's a number of players who are making
another Decran, of course.
Yes, I was going to say who are making contributions for their main clubs. And yes, there is a sneaky Declan kind of lurking on the roster just when you thought you'd got away from them all. No, they keep on going. A man who would know these sort of things, Pierre-Alain Delamine, he's mentioned that Greg Pitekena he's playing with Moon.
Yes.
Pierre-Yann Deforce playing with Gentle. Apparently, Matt Kless, who plays for Accelerators and Armada, he's a big one to watch as well on this team. And one of the great things about, covering any tournament, but especially covering these youth tournaments, is you see these breakout stars. Like, there's no better tournament to kind of announce yourself on a world stage of like, I'm going to be here for 5-10 years. Learn my name now, and you can sound very smart in future. I'm looking forward to watching Belgium play. Who's going to come out in that pool? I don't know. Again, you probably, in terms of the favourites overall for the division, you're going to be tough. It's going to be tough to look past USA anytime they take the field, really. But they are not. They're not perfect. It's not an insurmountable obstacle. I'm just looking forward to getting a chance to see it all play out, to be honest. The fact that, you go straight into quarters, there's no crossovers or anything, means that you have to be on it right from the get-go. And that's tough. That can be quite a lot of pressure. And if you drop a game early, you can get into your own heads, especially when you're a younger player in a younger team. Sometimes it can be difficult to ride those emotional waves a little bit more. So it will be interesting. I would very much expect if everyone in Pool B won a game and no one in Pool B was undefeated, that would not surprise me at all. I could easily see it one of those pools where teams take lumps out of each other along the way, and it kind of gets a little bit murky in those final spots for qualification into the quarters.
Looking forward to see how that one unfolds. We will pick some winners for the tournament when we're done all 3 divisions here. We're breaking them down. Let's talk about the women's division. This one also an odd numbered division. Tell us how it breaks down, Benjy.
Give it up for 11, maybe the worst number to write a schedule for. It's horrible. There are 2 pools, 1 pool of 5 and 1 pool of 6. Pool A, which has 5 teams, USA, Italy, Germany, Australia, and Great Britain. And then Pool B, France, Canada, New Zealand, Japan, Singapore, and Ireland. The top 3 teams in each pool go into a power pool. And from there, the top 4 teams in the top power pool go straight to semi-finals. So again, this really is, you can ill afford any slip-ups here. Pool A, GB having that home field behind them could be huge. I don't think that can be underestimated. The comfort of being on home soil. You've got as well, you'll have a much bigger sideline presence and support because it's so much easier for your families to come out. And I know that there are some nations where the parents do tend to travel well anyway, but the fact that you are on home soil, I think, is going to be huge. Didn't go great for GB at JJUC a couple of years ago, but the most important thing for me was that they were there, which is something that's not always been the case in previous cycles where there haven't necessarily been GB teams in, and that has always kind of disappointed me, in all honesty, because I appreciate that, if you feel like you're not up to it, then, you can do yourself some psychological damage almost from getting out there and having a tough week of it, but I don't think there's any better way to kind of test and improve yourself and give yourself goals and markers than to get out there on the field and play. So in terms of who comes through in this group, alongside probably USA, Italy, you've got to be fancy. Germany, this pool I think is really up in the air. Pool B, I think probably is a bit more stratified in terms of who's where. France are magnificent, and this France roster is super strong as well. I think they go all the way and beat USA. It's tough because USA is very good, but if they repeated as finalists, that would not shock me at all. I think France and then 2 of Canada, New Zealand, Japan probably taking those other spots behind them.
Yeah, it's the French women. If they're again, most times you talk about worlds in ultimate, you talk about which team has the potential to win a gold medal that's not USA. And I think, for my money, the French women probably have the best crack at being the next best and possibly the best in the division.
I mean, you have
right at the top, Swan Lacoste and Camille Blanc. The 2 of them are they're both playing on the French national team.
Yeah,
the open age level,
and they're not just playing on their French national teams. They're having big roles on their national teams. They are not there just to make up numbers, which is great. Swan Lacoste Lefebvre just looks so composed and assured with everything she does. It's great.
Doing it with Yaka, of course, as well.
Yeah, Zoe Forget is brilliant. Mabakondia-Son, Carolina Mabakondia-Son, again, is another player who we're seeing having more.
She's playing with Yaka now this year as well.
Yeah, Margot Nissan, who's of course sister of Jacques Nissan, the traitor who won a gold medal with USA under 24s rather than sticking with the home nation France, as Margot is here. That's not serious, by the way. You can play for whoever. To be honest, I think most players, if given the chance to play for USA, might be tempted to be like, USA, you understand why players would, especially given that he lives out there, so it's not as if he's just being flown in as a parachute. I really like the French under 20 women's side. I think they're outstanding. The USA side has 4 returners from JJUC. Chloe Hakimi, who I think is still like 18, which is ludicrous. She's absolutely brilliant. Looking forward to seeing her again. Rachel Chang has been outstanding. Their game was right on it. I think they were part of the under 24 setup last year in Nottingham as well, so they'll be good. Bella Russell's also back for another cycle, as is Grace Maroon, and they're bringing lots of other good players through, like who weren't there 2 years ago, but you will still see big contributions from, such as let's pick 2 in the middle of the roster, right? Zaza Gelfand and Opal Burris, who, yes, that surname will resonate for a lot of people for because of obviously the coaching dynasty that Lou and the whole rest of the family has contributed to on the field. She's going to continue that as well.
One of my favorite commentators, as well as being an ex great player and coach.
True, yeah, always nice to see commentators out in the wild. But I mean, they've also got outstanding coaches on board for each division. You've got Martin Aguilera for mixed, Deanna Ball for women's, and Reed Cost for open, who are players again who have been there, done that. Got the medals, got the t-shirts. They will absolutely be big threats. Yeah, I think for women's, USA France is a matchup I'm so looking forward to. And assuming that they get out the pools, we'll see it at least once in the power pool and then hopefully in the final. Who knows?
Again, like looking at this list, Germany was quite good at last year's EYUC. Italy obviously made it to the final. They played on home turf, and I think they maybe played up and gave the French as good of a fight as they ever would there in that in Padova at that beautiful stadium. The name of it is evading me for the time being, but it'll come. But let's go to our picks here, and we'll start where we finished our breakdown. Thank you so much, Benj, for the wonderful breakdown. But I mean, I think we're gonna pick the same here, so I'll pick first in this one. But I think we'll pick the same for finalists. Shall we go semis and finalists?
Yeah, we can do semis as well to create a little bit of variation, because especially in this division, I think we're both nailed on USA France final, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to take the French just to be cheeky. I know that's no easy task.
I mean, you are in France, right? So I understand you drinking the whatever the French equivalent of Kool-Aid is.
Yeah, okay,
drinking the pastis.
Yes.
Much rather you than me.
Yes.
And then who do I see coming out in the semi-finals with them? I'll take Canada, who were beaten by France in the semi-final 2 years ago. And I think I'll put Japan in there, actually. I don't know what to expect from them, but I feel like this is the division in the past at youth level where they've had maybe their biggest successes. So I'll put Japan in there with them.
I think I was going to go not with so I'm drinking the French Kool-Aid, but not drinking the Canadian maple syrup was what was just in my head. But I think I was going to go a France-Italy semi. And again, these may bounce their way into different shape depending on seeding and power pools. But France, Italy, and USA, Japan. So not too far off, but yep. I swap Canada out for Italy there. And I guess I got some heritage there as well. I could pick any country in the world and have some heritage.
You've got some claim there, haven't you? Yeah. Should we move on to open?
Yeah, let's go back through open here. You can go ahead there, Benj. Unless you prefer that I do. I'm always happy to.
I'll let you take it first.
Okay, so then I am definitely the top seeds of each pool. I think Italy and USA are going to be in the finals. So I'll start with that. I will say the Aussie Thunder. I've been following their Instagram. They're very confident. They're traveling a long way. What's the
moniker for that team?
The Thunder.
Oh, it's not an animal. It's just thunder.
Yeah, the juniors are Terra and Thunder. They're the only two that are named after global phenomena or something. But I'm not sure. I'm going to go pick them. No, I am going to stick with seed. I think it's lame. Oh, no. No. Here we go. No. Belgium, USA, France. Belgium, USA, Canada, Italy. Belgium, USA, Canada, Italy. Belgium, USA, Canada, Italy. And I think it's going to be USA topples Italy in the final.
Belgium, USA, Canada, Italy. Okay, interesting. Let me do some maths here. France obviously were silver medalists 2 years ago and silver medalists last year in Padova, but some of those players again have graduated through, but they've still got some really good players. Like, how is Enzo Stanganek still under 20? Not quite sure. I remember Ilya Mandley having some really good plays 2 years ago. I will take USA, France, Italy, Belgium.
Okay. I like it. It can go any which way here. And let's go to the nicely drawn up pool we've got here, the mixed division where we've got 16 teams, 4 pools. I'll let you go first here, Benj.
Let's have so semi-finals. I will go USA, Switzerland, France. I think I just back the kind of the consistency they've had at that level. And how spicy do I want to be here? is the question.
Yeah.
I think I'll put Canada in there.
I think I'm not too far off that. That was very much swirling in my head. Switzerland, USA again. I say for sure. Have you picked your finalists and your?
I have not
champion
yet. I'm
Go
still
ahead.
trying to work that out.
Go ahead. You want me to pick my semis first, and then you can pick them.
Yeah, I'm still thinking.
Okay, then
I'm trying to work out how groups shake out and all that.
I don't think Hungary's going to do it.
No, I think.
Prove me wrong.
I mean,
Hungary, but...
full credit to Hungary for having that. I mean, they have targeted this division consistently for the past 4 or 5 years or so, and they've had a lot of success in it. But as you mentioned, some of those big players have finally it seemed aged out. But that's what happens when you put a national team into EUC of plenty of 15-year-olds, which I mean was not a choice that many countries would have made, but they've had international success with it. So. I mean, then evidently they maybe saw a gap in the market that others did not.
I can't be sold on Colombia either. I am going to go USA, Switzerland, Canada, France.
Yeah, so
it's the same as you?
It is the same.
Okay, then I'm going to swap out France for Singapore.
Oh, interesting. Singapore have had success at under 24 level, so they'll bring it.
And at mixed.
Yep, so they will maybe bring that through. I don't think that's a completely out there shout, to be honest. I mean, we could all be completely proved wrong because it turns out that Latvia has been breeding a new generation of superstars that we've not heard outright. Who's seen anything from Panama? Like, great to have Panama and Mexico and stuff here. Huge. Hong Kong, China as well. Plus China. I mean, this is the biggest division. It's great. We get countries who can't necessarily afford to send teams in all 3 divisions. Like the fact that they are choosing to enter teams into mixed, whereas in the past they might have entered teams into open, is great as well. I fully endorse that. The final, I am going to say, is USA against... I'll put USA Canada in there.
There you go. And will it go to chalk for that final? Will the US take it?
I unfortunately I find it hard to bet against a USA sweep, but prove me. I would love to be proved wrong. No offense, USA, love to be proved wrong because they know that they go into every tournament with a huge target on their backs and everyone wanting them to lose. And I don't actively root for them to lose, but it's
I root for other teams to win.
You would accept that when you are the consensus best nation, you will have that target on your back. Teams will bring their A game against you, and it's nice to root for an underdog and see the upset.
For sure, like Olympic basketball right now. I mean, I love seeing that collection of U.S. All Stars, but I would love to see.
Come on.
I would love to see somebody.
The miracle on ice wouldn't have been anywhere near as good if USA was supposed to win, right?
Yeah, exactly. I will take USA beating Switzerland and not Canada in the final. So I do think the Swiss have enough carryover. They've lost a few for sure. A few, the Hinkle brothers and Michel Moulibach primarily that they won't have. But I think their depth was one of their primary strengths of their last junior campaign.
The one thing for me is that because we were at Swiss Nationals a couple of weekends ago, and by the way, if you are interested in what we think of all the European nationals, then we have more bonuses for you. A lot of the players who very much impressed us playing at Swiss Nationals and for Solabang in particular, they're playing on the open side, so players like Sol Gadamian for RAGTAG as they are now, or Andriy Baumgartner, who was just an absolute monster for Solabang.
Weapon.
Yeah, they're playing open rather than kind of everyone going into mix, so they've split it a little bit. If everything was focused on Swiss mix, then I might maybe bump them up a little bit higher. But as it
Who's
is, yeah, I still
coaching the Swiss Open?
good question.
Nasser Mbe Vogel.
That he might be good. Do you know who's coaching Swiss mixed?
I do not know who's coaching Swiss Mixed. I know who's coaching Swiss Mixed for their
Worlds.
for Worlds, which is Simon. His last name Simon, Andrew Simon. Certainly, last name is a first name. Last name is Simon, but and he's a fab guy. But yeah, don't know who's coaching their juniors. So okay, that is a wonderful breakdown of what is upcoming in Birmingham. Probably by the time you're watching this, it will be underway. Everything in Birmingham. So yeah, you've heard it here from us. You've heard our take. You might be able to comment and tell us we're absolutely right or potentially absolutely wrong by the time you're watching.
In terms of covering the tournament, the tournament website has like a live page where you can look at all the results to help make things slightly easier. There's a schedule on the website as well. It's quite a nice schedule because there's 2 games in the morning, lunch break, 2 games in the afternoon. So it's not quite as full on as some other tournaments are. Everyone gets a nice little break in the middle for the hot weather. Don't know about that one. It is Birmingham, but yeah. And ULTI is streaming 3 games every round. 1 from a fully commentated show pitch, and then 2 with kind of single camera coverage as well. Plus, there'll be pictures and writing coming out from the tournament as well. So WJUC.sport is the official tournament website, and you can find ways to follow along on there.
Nice work, Benjy, making sure everybody can stay locked in. Amazing stuff. We've got a little bit more to talk about. We're gonna cut it off here. I'm not sure that all of this will actually be on the free edition. Some of this might already be cut off. But we're going to cut it off here. We'll say that we got a little bit more to chat about, but we'll do that in the patron-only section.